Hi everybody, Yusuf Badu back again with some more behavior profiling tips and tricks. If you watch our last video, we talked about how to establish baselines and look for those anomalies. Today we're going to talk about another critical component of what's going to help you become a better behavior profiler, and that is of walking around in the correct mindset to utilize these tools I'm giving you. I can't just give you a whole bunch of tools and go, here you go, have fun. You got to actually walk around with a correct mindset and how to use these baselines and anomalies. Before we talk about what that mindset is, I want to say something. A lot of people are scared. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world. We're seeing a lot of stuff in the news. And people are scared, and people want to protect themselves, okay? For our purposes here, and this is just my opinion, I'm going to boil down your choice to two things. Either A, you can put your head in the sand and hope none of those bad things ever happen to you. That's one option, okay? I wouldn't advise it. But you could definitely hope that you never get into a situation where shots are fired or bombs are going off or bad stuff is happening around you. Well, the second option is you can mentally prepare yourself for the possibility one day something bad might happen around you, whether it be a shooting, a bombing, whatever it may be. Mentally preparing yourself for something that could possibly happen. I don't care what part of the political spectrum you're on, whether you're pro-guns, anti-guns, whatever it is, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a mindset of being mentally prepared for something bad happening in and around you or those of your loved ones, okay? If you pick option two, which is being aware, being mentally aware, you're already that much ahead of a game. You might not be able to predict exactly what's going to happen to you or what situation you'll be getting into, but at least if you mentally prepare yourself that, hey, one day something could happen, you're already that much farther ahead in the game, okay? Because option one, sticking your head in the sand and hoping and praying that nothing ever happens to you, is not a good option. It's not a viable option, okay? Hope is not a tactic, okay? But preparing yourself mentally is, all right? And that's what we're talking about here. So take that thought, and we'll talk about what the mindset is. And I like to break the hybrid mindset, as I like to call it, into three kind of components. The first component you want to walk around in is you want to have the mindset of cunning. Have a little bit of cunning when you're walking around, okay? Don't be oblivious to your surroundings. And when I say cunning, what I mean is I want you to think like the bad guys out there, the criminals, the terrorists, okay? It might be uncomfortable if you don't come from that kind of security realm, but I can guarantee you it will help you a lot. It'll help you out a lot more. Thinking like the bad guy makes you a better good guy, okay? Go home and try out a thought exercise. I want you to go to your homes, look at your house and say, okay, how would I burglarize my own home? Okay, you already know the inside layout. You already know there's an alarm and whatnot. How would I do that? How would I physically conduct this act of burglary on my own home? Walk around your house. Hey, you see a low-lying fence there. Oh, yeah, I'd probably jump this fence, run in here, break this door or window. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I usually put the alarm on at night. I got the ADT sign out there. That might scare a burglar off, okay? But if I was a committed burglar, okay, I don't want to burglarize a place when the alarm is on at night, so when's the best time? Probably during the daytime. Hopefully nobody's home, but I could probably boot the door in and not have an alarm going off, okay? That's a simple analogy to have that cunning mindset. Thinking like the bad guy makes you a better good guy because you run through the behaviors and you might actually spot one of those one day. You're like, hey, wait a minute. I talked about that or thought about that. I'm watching that person do it right now. That's having a cunning mindset. The second component is have a natural curiosity to things, okay? You always want to be asking questions, always digging, always pulling on the thread. Like I tell my students, what happens if you pull on the thread long enough? Things start to unravel, okay? So if you see something anomalous, some type of anomalous behavior or something doesn't fit, question, pull on that thread, dig, see what kind of information you can get out of that situation, okay? Oftentimes I see people make the mistake if they observe something anomalous or something that doesn't fit, and they're like, wow, that's weird. Oh, you know what? That person is probably just fill in the blank, okay? When you're doing that, you're in denial. Your brain's trying to just get out of that situation. It doesn't want to think something actually bad is happening, so it'll just throw something out there. Oh, that person's doing A, B, or C, okay? Never try to explain anybody else's actions away for them, okay? If you spot a behavior, don't explain it away. Let them explain it if you have that chance to talk to them, but never do that where you explain things away. Oh, it's probably doing A, B, C, and D, because you're in denial at that point. You obviously spotted something weird, but now you don't want to say anything. You don't want to be impolite, okay? So that's the second component. Have that questioning kind of mindset, that natural curiosity to keep digging, see what more information you can get. And the third component, or kind of the component that glues it all together, where I got the hybrid mindset from, and again, I'm not married to this, it's just a concept I'm working with, is we've all often heard the analogy of the sheepdog and the wolf and the sheep, okay? If you haven't ever heard it before, within the security industry and the military and law enforcement, you have the population, which are the sheep. You know, they walk around relatively unaware of things happening to them, trying to go about their daily business, but they're not really aware of things around them. Then you have the wolf. That person would be a criminal, a terrorist, someone who's actively trying to prey on the flock of sheep. And the only protection you have in between the sheep and the wolf is the sheepdog, okay? He's going to vigilantly stand guard over that flock. And if the wolf ever shows his face or ever observes him, he's going to go react and respond to that wolf and keep the sheep safe, okay? It's a great analogy, and it's been used a lot over many years, and it still applies. But here's my concept, is that you have to change our context a little bit nowadays. No longer is it just okay for that sheepdog to stay stationary around the sheep and only react or respond when he spots a wolf coming in their direction. I would say we need to build that hybrid kind of wolf mindset where not only you protect the sheep where they're at, but that hybrid wolf is going ranging out, looking for those anomalies, looking for those threats, and looking for those criminals, terrorists, or bad guys before they get close enough to the flock to attack with those deadly attacks or criminal acts or whatever they may be. So that's the kind of concept I have there. And why I call it the hybrid wolf kind of mindset too is because he has characteristics of the sheepdog, characteristics of the wolf. That hybrid wolf, he can do violence if pushed to, if he needs to defend him or other people around him, he can do that. Also, he has cunning. You know, he has cunning like we talked about. But what sets him apart really is that hybrid wolf operates under legal, moral, and ethical parameters. It doesn't just use whatever means necessary it can to protect the sheep. It has to pour those decisions it has to make through the legal, moral, and ethical kind of filters before it makes them. And that's what really sets that wolf aside from that bad wolf, that criminal or terrorist. So if you can wrap your head around that concept, it's a good one to have. Remember, hope is not a tactic. Mentally prepare yourself for things that could possibly happen around you, okay? Have cunning, ask questions, and don't explain away people's actions, okay? That's where you start getting in trouble, right? And take all that stuff and use that kind of aware, head up, strong mindset to walk around within your everyday, and you'll be that much more ahead of the game. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. I'm going to have, like I said in the last video, I'm going to have a few more series. You guys really seem to like them, so as long as you guys keep smashing that like button, I'll keep putting these things out there. See you next time, guys.